Henry Ruggs was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, one of the fastest receivers the college level has ever seen. He was also a part of the legendary wide receiver class at Alabama that featured Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Jerry Jeudy. It doesn't just stop there. He was one of the top prospects heading into the 2020 NFL Draft. Ruggs got selected by the Raiders with the 12th overall pick due to the main fact he ran a 4.27 40-yard dash at the combine. He didn't stop there, and he wasn't satisfied. He continued to want more. For the Raiders, he was a great deep ball threat. In his first season, he showed flashes of greatness, nothing too crazy, but in his second year, he was looking like the next big thing. You could tell easily why he was so highly regarded no matter where he played, whether it was in high school, college, or at the NFL. Growing up, I've always heard the phrase speed kills. I guess we'll touch on that later in this video. Henry Ruggs was looking like a really good, promising NFL wide receiver. Until today. As great as things were looking for this man, he's a multi-millionaire, he's got the nice car, he's got all the money, he's playing the sport he loves. He lost all that today in the blink of an eye. It's extremely sad to even say this, it's nobody's fault but his. I'm going to emphasize this. Henry Ruggs just didn't throw his football career away, he threw his entire life away. He threw away the best lifestyle anyone could dream of for one dumb decision. This decision not only affects him, but family members of many other people, including the one that happened to pass away. There's a lot to this video and story we're going to dive into deep into detail and take a look at the rise and fall of Henry Ruggs. What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get 100 or 200 new subscribers off of this video. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's continue on. I'm sad, I'm not gonna lie. Henry Ruggs, this was a guy I love watching at Alabama. For those of you that don't know or you're new to the channel, I am an Alabama football fan. That is a main part as to why I wanted to make a video about all of this. I've been keeping up with Henry Ruggs not just since his NFL or college days, but his high school days. He only grew up an hour or two away from where I grew up, so I know a little about his backstory and the type of person he is. To get into Mr. Henry Ruggs' story, you already know. We gotta throw it all the way back to where things started. Henry grew up in Montgomery, Alabama. From the start of his sporting career, it was evident to everyone around him he was going to be a phenomenal athlete in any sport he chose to do. A lot of people don't know this, but Henry Ruggs wasn't just a football star, he was a basketball star too. He could have went and played Division I basketball wherever he wanted to. When he was only in 11th grade, he already had a 42-inch vertical. That's pretty insane. We'll talk about his basketball career in just a second. You may be asking, how good was he in football? Well, in 8th grade, he was already on the varsity team. I want you to understand, this isn't a case where you got a huge kid who's 6'5" and on the offensive line in 8th grade. No, Henry Ruggs was just a small kid at the time. Could you imagine a 5'8" to 5'9" 8th grader going up against varsity grown men? Kinda ridiculous. His high school career for football isn't that complicated. He was a fast guy who they tried to get the ball to in any way and shape and form possible. Listen to this stat. His senior year, he had 20 touchdowns. 9 of those were receiving, 7 were rushing, 3 were passing, and 1 was a kick return. He could do it all. I do need to throw in there, he also ran track in high school and holds a state record in Alabama with a 10.58 100-meter dash. His basketball career is more interesting to me because people don't even know he was that great of a hooper. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, he could jump out of the gym, but no. Henry Ruggs could literally jump out of the gym. It was insane. I hope I can find the clips to throw him in this video. There's videos of him doing windmill, between the leg dunks. It's flat out ridiculous. In his basketball career, he averaged right around 11 points per game with 3 rebounds and 1 assist. I realize those aren't crazy numbers. Keep in mind, he was only playing basketball to have fun. He didn't take it serious. When his high school career was coming to an end, he was regarded as the second best prospect in the state of Alabama and a 4-star recruit. Obviously, you probably know this, he decided to keep it close at home and commit and sign with Alabama. Here is a very, and I mean very vital key piece to our story I want you to remember for later in this video. Before he committed to Alabama, he had a real close relationship with his best friend who also played basketball that went by the name of Rod Scott. In 2016, Rod Scott was killed in a car accident. Rod Scott was also a 2-sport athlete that could have played Division I or Division II football somewhere. And when I say they were best friends, I don't think you understand. They were as close as it gets to being a brother. It hurt Henry Ruggs dramatically, and he decided to wear number 3 in basketball to honor his friend. That entire story's been on College Game Day, Sports Center. You can find it anywhere. I know what some of you may be thinking. Yo, Matt, why did you bring it up? I brought it up for the reason I want you to understand. It hurt Henry Ruggs so much that his best friend died in a car crash. Just kinda keep that in the back of your mind. Flash forward in time to his career at Alabama, it was relatively simple. In 2017, he was only a freshman, but he was still making an impact. He was, how do I say this, the new kid on the block. When fans would see him play in the backup minutes, they would say, hold on, who's this guy? He didn't play that much and catch a lot of balls, but when he did, it got you off your feet. In that season, you could see his explosiveness and his quick first step and all that good traits that he had. He had 12 catches for 229 yards, averaging 19 yards a catch with 6 touchdowns. Right there, you can see it. He only had 12 catches, but half of them were touchdowns. The perfect way to describe Henry Ruggs as an athlete is he's a big-time playmaker. If he catches the ball, he's going to make the play, and it's more than likely going to be a big play. It wasn't up until 2018 until he really started to get the recognition I feel like he deserved. In this season, he had 46 catches for 741 yards, averaging 16 yards a catch with 11 touchdowns. Hold on. Before we go any farther, I want to talk about that. For those of you that didn't watch him at Alabama, or you're sitting there saying, yo, those are okay numbers, they're nothing crazy. In that 2018 season, if he was the only good or great wide receiver on that team, he could have easily had 2,000 yards. I firmly believe that. The reason his numbers are so low is because he had to share the load with other great receivers at the time. Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy, and Jalen Waddle. All the receivers in that class, it was hard for them to even get over 1,000 yards in a season because they had to share the ball with everyone. You got to keep in mind too, I didn't even bring this up, I can't believe I forgot, you had Najee Harris in the backfield. So right then and there, we got to appreciate how loaded this Alabama team was. They had 4 first-round wide receivers and a first-round running back. Wait, did Najee go in the first round? I think he did. If he didn't, it doesn't matter. He's a great running back. The year after that, his junior year, was a carbon copy paste of his previous season. If you don't believe me, I'll give you the numbers once again. He had 40 catches for 746 yards, 18.6 a catch with 7 touchdowns. Look, bottom line, I could sit up here and rant and rave and tell you how great he was at Alabama. You get the point. We know he was good and we know he was fast. Getting along with this video, after that season, his junior year, he decided he thought he was good enough to go into the NFL draft. At the combine, he turned a lot of heads when he ran a 4.27 40-yard dash, which is somewhat a disappointment. Going into that, he wanted to run a 4.21, I believe that's what he said. He even stated he was disappointed in himself. He didn't do better, and that goes to show you and tells you just how talented this young man is. When you run a 4.27 40-yard dash and you're somewhat disappointed, you got some talent. He was straight up gifted. Don't get me wrong, he also worked hard. A part of his game that doesn't get enough credit is his hands. I think he has great hands and he can run routes with the best of them. After putting up insane numbers at the combine, he got selected 12th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft. Everyone in the Raiders franchise, this is the guy they wanted and they thought it was a great pick. Shortly after getting drafted on July 21st in 2020, he signed a 4-year contract, $17 million deal with the team. His NFL career has been going well so far. I wouldn't say great, but I'd say good. His first year, he showed what he could do in his big playmaking abilities. In his second year, he was polishing up his game even more. In 2020, in only 13 games played, he had 26 catches for 452 yards. You see it right there. Every time he catches the ball, he doesn't have a lot of catches. When he does, it's a big gain. He had 17 yards a catch. In that season, he finished with 2 touchdowns. In the next year, the current year as to when I'm speaking, 2021, he was going off and he was on pace to have over 1,000 yards. Already, in only 7 games played, he had 24 catches for 469 yards, averaging a whopping 19.5 yards per catch with 2 touchdowns. He already passed last year's records. You want to know what's really crazy about all of it? I don't even feel like he's anywhere close to his potential. He has a lot of potential for the Raiders that he hasn't even got close to tapping into. The season so far, it's been great for him. I've enjoyed watching him. I've always liked watching him at Alabama, and it's been cool to see him make some big catches at the next level. But however, with all that being said and all the hard work he's put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears for the past 7, 8, 9 years of his life, and all may be for nothing after what he did today. There's no easy way to say this. I'm sad for him. This is a guy I'm a fan of, and I want to see him succeed and do good things in life. It was announced earlier today that Henry Ruggs is going to be charged with a DUI that resulted in the death of another person. Now, hold on. Before some people say, yo, it's not confirmed just yet, all of this, what I'm about to read you, is according to ESPN and some other news sources. So if some of this changes in a week or two, don't come attacking me. This is from ESPN themselves, and I trust them. To get into what happened, it was reported right before 3:40 a.m. he crashed into a Toyota RAV4. The place he crashed was in a residential area several miles from west of Las Vegas. It was said that Henry Ruggs, quote-unquote, showed signs of impairment. The police have also stated that he will be charged with a felony DUI resulting in death. If you're curious, Henry Ruggs was taken to the hospital and it said he's fine right now. As to when I'm speaking, it's being said the charges have not been filed just yet. The district attorney of that county has said he's aware of what's going on and he's going to await the results of the police investigation. Here's where things start to get bad for Henry Ruggs. Probation is not, and I repeat, not an option in Nevada for a conviction on a charge of a DUI causing death. Not only that, it gets worse, this will also mean he'll have a possible sentence up to 2 to 20 years in state prison. Oh man, before we go any farther, I just feel bad for this man. I do. I know a lot of people aren't going to show sympathy to him, but come on now, this is a human. I feel bad for him. You can say what you want. Henry Ruggs is a person I grew up watching play football and basketball, seeing how great he was. I don't want to see this amongst anybody. I'm not excusing it. What he did, it was dumb, and there's no excuse. But I hate to see his life being thrown away for one bad decision. The only thing I'm going to say, your true character is revealed through tough times and adversity, and he needs to stand up and own this. Don't dwell on the past, Henry. You got to move on and look forward. And then too, before I move on with this, I also want to say my prayers and thoughts go out to the other person who lost their life and every family member involved. I'm praying for everyone in this situation. There's not a win-win. Here's how I look at it. I know everybody's going to criticize Henry Ruggs and call him all these names and do all this. I'm not going to do that, and here's why. Calling Henry Ruggs these names and whatever you're going to say about him doesn't help the situation whatsoever. I'm not excusing what he did, but me throwing fire on fire doesn't help anything else. I get really amped up about situations like this because whenever somebody, and especially athletes, make a bad decision, you got all these other people criticizing them like they're perfect. Nobody's perfect. Me, you, everyone watching this, we're going to make many mistakes in our life. Once again, I'm not excusing it, and I'm not telling you to have sympathy for Henry Ruggs. If you think it's bad, just think it's bad. You don't got to go on Twitter and say all this and that. You're not helping. I'm sure some of you are curious what the Raiders are going to do. Are they going to cut him from the team? Are they going to waive him? They've stated they're not going to do anything, and they're waiting for the investigation until a further statement. Remember how I brought up the story of how Henry Ruggs' best friend died in a car crash? I brought it up because of this. You would think if he went through something traumatizing like that, he for sure wouldn't make another mistake that would cost somebody else their life. I straight up can't believe what's happening. I can't believe it. It hasn't set in with me. I can't process and make it seem right that he would even think about doing this considering what happened to his best friend. On the screen, I will be showing you two different pictures. One picture right here, this is Henry Ruggs' green Corvette, the car he was driving. You see how nice it is? Probably a $200,000 car. The next picture you're about to see on your screen, that is a picture of the wreck. You can tell by that how bad it was. I'm not too sure 100% on those pictures. That's what's been leaked to the media, and it's according to sources. That's the wreck. Still, doesn't matter regardless. It had to be bad if somebody lost their life. I have seen this too, I somewhat kind of agree with. People on Twitter are saying, if you have all this money, how do you not get an Uber or have someone that personally drives you around? I understand that. I believe it was more of Henry thought he was okay to drive. He got in the car. It was a bad decision. And then, whatever happened next, it happened. I also agree with this. With more than 1,000%, this person said, if the first thing you think about is your fantasy team when you hear the news about Henry Ruggs III, you might be a piece of you-know-what. I can't even fathom the thought, and it pains me to see people on Twitter saying, RIP my fantasy team, and this is going to hurt my fantasy team. Like, dude, grow up. First things first, if you're worried about your fantasy team more than your own life, that's a problem right there itself. Straight up ridiculous and a unreal situation. I'm sure we'll know more in the next days to come. Wow, I don't even know what to say. What's next for Henry Ruggs? I mean, I assume there's no way he's going to get out of this. I mean, it looks like he's going to jail. It's all happened so fast. Like I said, literally a day or two ago, he was fine, living the dream, and now he may never play in the NFL again, and he more than likely is going to lose a lot of money. Scratch that, the money's not even a big deal or not playing in the NFL. He might be in jail for a couple of years. Unreal. Appreciate what you got. Live your life to the best and be smart, guys. If you're drinking, I don't even advise to drink. I don't drink myself. But if you are going to drink, don't be scared to call a friend or call your dad or mom or anyone. Just don't drive yourself. It's also a lesson, as great as your life can be, only one, and only one, let me emphasize that, one mishap, one mess up can change the complexity of everything. I'm not a person to prey on another man's downfall. I'm wishing the family that's involved of the person who lost their life, I'm praying for them, wishing them the best of luck. For Henry Ruggs, I'm wishing him the best of luck. I'm wishing everybody involved the best of luck. I'm praying for everyone, like I said. I think you should too. If you're watching this video, say a short prayer. Last thing before I head off, for all those people in the comment section or on Twitter that are going to say F Henry Ruggs and call him names and call him stupid and an idiot and all that stuff, just remember, my friend, you're going to make many more mistakes in your life, and you've probably made many in your life. How would it feel if people were criticizing you? Not so good. I get it. What he did, it was stupid and dumb. But he's got to deal with the consequences, not you. So whatever Bob says on Twitter, it doesn't matter. Sad, sad story. The rise and the fall of Henry Ruggs. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, it's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.